So hello everybody, welcome back. I wanted to talk to you right now about propane and how to cook when you don't have propane or electricity and stuff like that. So before I continue, I wanted to remind you that down below is my email in case that you want to help me out by sending an Amazon gift card. So thank you very much, I really appreciate that one. So anyway, here we go. So number one, about propane. You need to take notes about several things of propane because propane is an energy source. And most people will realize that it is an energy source and not just a cooking source. So some people will need the propane for heaters and other things, not just cooking. But here is what I'm going to tell you, is that human stupidity, does not have limits. So here I go. If you don't have gasoline, and then you don't have propane, and then all of a sudden you realize that you can run a car on gas, not gasoline, gas, like actual gas. Yeah, people will start changing the engines and stuff. You can do adaptations to a car so that it doesn't run on gasoline, but it rather runs on gas, which is easier to get. And now here's the kicker. Some people will think that because they are mechanics or because they know about cars and stuff like that, they will start trying to put propane tanks for cooking and for, your house into the cars. Yes, I know, it's stupid because when you think about it, you will think that people know that propane, even though it's an energy source, it is not the same freaking propane that you have for your car. Now, so there will be, like I said, crazy things happening. So number one, people will not know how long does a propane tank last because they don't have like a regular use unless they know how they use it frequently or whatever. And most people don't even have like an estimate of how long it should last or how to be used. People do not know how to install it. And if you do not know how to install it, you might be doing it wrong, which means that you will have leaks. And if you have leaks and then there is a sparkle nearby, then that is a boom. Then, so you will have explosions when everybody is using propane at the same time because there is no power or whatsoever. Number two, like I said, people would not know how to connect them, so you will have problems with that. Then the problem will be, people changing the propane tanks from the kitchen, putting them in the cars so that they can drive their cars with the propane tank that is supposed to be used in the kitchen. Yeah, I know, insane. You should see the videos of cars exploding, especially because here's the deal. Your propane container, the propane container, the metal canister thing, you are supposed to fill it up with a machine that is supposed to be very specific. And that machine usually takes care of checking for leaks in your container. Finding a container for gas when it is hard times is going to be very, very, very difficult, if it is possible at all, because those containers are different depending upon the type of gas that it has. So why do cars explode when you put them a container that has gas, even though it is, kind of like the same? Well, here's the deal. Gas will react to certain pressure, okay? And the gas that is for the car, it has a pressure that is very, 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 very high, meaning you have more gas in less space, because there is no way that you can drive a car with a 20-pound, container of gas. You need more. So basically, the gas will be kind of like more gas in the same space. And in order for them to do that, there has to be different kind of gas. And not only that, but it has to be filled at a different kind of level. Not all the gas can be put into a container at the same speed and at the same limit. So the cars explode and stuff like that when you go to a gas station, because people that try to fill up gas containers for the kitchen with a gas container that is for a car, it's like let's say that you want to eat an entire duck, like a real sized duck or a real sized, medium sized dog, with your mouth. It's kind of like that, and one bite. There's no way that you can do that, unless you're an alien or something. But you can't. You have to chop it into pieces and stuff because your capacity is smaller. So the gas that you have for your kitchen and the gas that you call propane for, your house use is kind of like your mouth, okay? It's not that big. And there is a reason for that. Number one, you probably don't need that much, propane in your house. And number two, it is heavy. And number three, there is also the fact that if someone does, something stupid, like trying to connect a hose the way that it doesn't or whatever, try to imagine if they were putting a container that has the same amount of gas that it has a gas in the car. Oh hell, your apartment will blow up to pieces. But if it is a small container and it doesn't have that much power, then the explosion might be smaller. You might be injured, but you might be in not so much trouble as if it was a car that explodes. So you need to understand that propane for a car is different than propane for a gasoline. This is also because some people, when they don't find propane for the house, they will go into a gas station and try to fill up the containers for your house with a hose from the gas station. It's the same, So no, it's a different kind of gas, it's a different kind of container, and it's a different kind of thing. You can't mix them, both of them. Even though it is a source of energy, it is not the same. So you need to get this one right. And you need to tell people to get this one right, because it is not enough that you know. Your neighbors have to know. Because if your neighbors do not know and they blow up their apartment and then you are next to them, it's going to screw you over as well. So you need to kind of do a campaign of teaching people how these things work. Number two, like I said, finding a container for propane or for a gas tank or whatever is going to be harder, because those things are not manufactured. And those things do rust over time and stuff like that. And here's the deal. If there is no propane or whatsoever, the propane tank, the propane gas actually does not have a smell. What people do is people will color that gas so that the color thing that they do with the chemical will do like a certain reaction, and you can smell the reaction, and that way you can know that there is a leak because of the smell. However, if that chemical is not there available anymore, they will fill up your container with no chemical, meaning that you can have a leak and you cannot know about it because the gas is not colored. And because of this, there have been so many accidents in my country like you have no idea. Because, like I said, people do not know that the container has a leak. People do not know that they are not connecting the hose properly and stuff like that, even though that they are experts doing that right now. And it's because the propane is not going to be colored anymore. Now, the third part is the fact that you need to know if the propane tank is filled or full or half, or how much have you used and how much is it left and whatever. And that one you need to know by touching the thing, because it's cooler or hotter or whatever. And if you can't, then you need to figure out how to do it by using soap, liquid soap. And you need to check for leaks every time that you get a new container with gas. Because if you have a leak, you need to know about it. And you need to do that by using liquid soap. I'm not going to show you how or whatever. You need to figure out that one by watching YouTube videos or whatever. But the point is that you need to take your safety seriously. And it will be very good if you mark your cylinders, with a permanent mark like a Sharpie or whatever. And then you say something like, this one belongs to me, and this is my address or my phone number or whatever. Because if you're going to have machinery that is going to be filling up your own cylinder, let's say that you're in a line with 400 people, okay? And then, you ended up there with two propane containers, and they all look exactly the same. Someone can swap your containers with their containers because their containers are broken or their containers are not good or whatever. So you need to mark your freaking, containers. And not only that, well, actually, check with the company if you can do that because, maybe you are not in hard times as bad and the company is actually going to take your container, give you a new one. But that is not the case. Do that. Because also, if you're in a line and you have two propane containers and then the person next to you have three, and then all of a sudden they say they have four and you have one, you might be into a fight. That won't happen if you mark them. How can you mark them? Well, if you can't, like I said, call the company and ask them, how can you mark them? Or if you can mark them. And if you can't mark them, what I will do is, I will ask the company if I can make like a little, dot or color or something, so that if I am in the line, no one next to me can say, that is my cylinder, that's not yours. You know what I mean? Because this will happen. There will be desperate people that will be making lines, and if they need 4 propane containers and they only have 2, they are going to try to steal it from people that are in the lines. So you need to consider that. Now, like I said, you need to check them. You need to make sure that they are okay. You need to know how the hell to use them. You need to know how the hell to know how much propane it has or whatever. Now, if you're making the line and someone is filling up the container right there, in front of you or whatever, and they have too much people going on, like they have 400 people online, and they're waiting for you to get the thing, and the container says 20-pound, cylinder, you might not get 20 pounds. You might not get, 18 pounds. You might get 14 or 15 or whatever, because if you're in a hurry and the person right there is considering that the whole truck of gas that they have is not going to be enough for 400 people, they might not fill you up entirely, the 20 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And they might not do it because they are under pressure to do it fast. They cannot, instead of underdoing it, they cannot overdo it because, then you will be in trouble. It's not like you can put 25 pounds in a 20 container pound, So, in a 20-pound container. So you need to know that very likely if everyone is in a hurry, no one is going to fill you up entirely. So if you're considering that you're getting 20 pounds, unless you are telling me that everything is normal and it's okay and it's been done with a machine and stuff like that and all of that, then okay. But if it is doing by hand and stuff, then you can forget about being exact about the amount of gas that you're getting. So you need to take that into consideration, because it's not the same, handling 18 pounds or, 16 pounds or 17 pounds and 20. And you will notice because it's a little bit of a difference. It's nearly 10 to 20% less. And sometimes here they do even less. Sometimes they do it up to 25 and 40% less. And sometimes they will swap the cylinders, and it's insane the amount of problems that you get every time that you're dealing with propane and with the people. So anyway, The whole situation also goes like this. When you are storing propane for cooking and for your house, I will suggest trying to get the minimum amount of 3 months worth of cooking propane. And I do mean 3 months. Like every month, you have to make sure or check or double check, triple check, whatever, that you have enough for 3 months minimum. That one won't work if you are trying to fix it for a week. Because here is the deal. If it is bad times, if it is hard times, that means that if you're going to get gasoline, you're probably going to have to make a line. If you're going to get water, you probably will have to make a line. If you are going to get food, you are probably going to make a line. And then if you're going to, get medical supplies, you are going to make a line. And if you're going to get propane, you are going to have to make a line. So, oh, come on, you can't be in 5 places at once. You can't. So basically, you have to pick your battles. And it is going to mentally drain you. And if you are not in a group that has 10 people on it, then you can't be on the same lines at the same time. So you need to reduce the one that is related to cooking and sanitation, meaning priority goes to water, and then the second priority goes to the freaking propane. The third priority will be the food. And here is why. You can get the food, but without water, what the hell? And without the propane to, heat it up or make it cold or hot or whatever, then basically you're screwed. So basically, the priority will be water, propane, and then everything else. If you already have propane and you don't have to worry about it for the next month, you are okay. You can make the line later, when you have plenty of water or something else, So this is important for you to understand. Now, how much propane do you actually use? Well, here's the deal. You can't put the exact time that you are using a propane tank. Here is why. Because when you're using a propane tank, you are setting up flames. The flame can be higher or can be, very small, almost invisible flame. So if you are using very high flame, you are going to consume the propane tank very fast. Now, if you are reheating food and you are, heating water all the time and stuff like that, you are going to end up using more propane. But if you're cooking something very slow, then the propane might last you a little bit longer, But on average, I'm going to tell you right now, on average, the 20-pound containers that you have in the US will last you maybe a couple of weeks or 3 weeks. If you ration it, you might last 1 month with one tank, but no more than that. And if you are cooking and doing a lot of things with a propane, I can assure you that it will last you 2 weeks, And if this is the first time that you are cooking with propane and stuff like that, that container is going to last you between 1 week and 10 days. That is just the average, at least here in my country, And I do mean, I don't care if you're rich or poor or whatever, we all kind of use the same amount because we are considering, doing the coffee, doing things in the morning with the propane, and doing things at noon and then doing things at night, and that's it, And that is not for heating consumption. If you are going to use propane for heating, oh hell no, that's not going to last you 3 weeks. If you're using it for heating and cooking, no, that's not going to last you 3 weeks. I'm sorry. And then you are like 18 hours of cooking or whatever, that's like the average of, apparently that's the thing that they say on the internet, that it will last you 18 hours. So let's say that one, container that has 20 pounds will last you 18 hours. Here's the deal. You cook an average of 15 minutes every meal. Let's say 15 minutes. It's not 15. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but let's say 15. And you cook 3 times a day. That's 45 minutes. Let's make it to 1 hour daily. just in case, okay? Just in case, you are cooking more or whatever, sort of like that, so 1 hour. If you have 18 hours average, use of that is 18 days. 18 days is less than 3 weeks, because 3 weeks is 21 days. So, like I said, if you ration it, you might be able to make it. And if you don't ration it, then you're screwed. So, because you're going to have to use it all the time, and if you need to use it all the time, then you need to figure out how you're going to get propane a lot. Now, the other thing that you need to consider, about propane is the fact that you do not need propane for cooking everything, okay? First of all, you need to consider the amount of food that you are trying to boil or you're trying to heat. Because it is not the same heating something that is small in quantity than heating something that is, huge in size and in quantity. If you are going to cook something that is big, let's say more than 1 liter, versus something that is small, like let's say 2 cups of coffee or something like that is small, then the amount of time and the amount of fuel that you're going to consume is obviously less if you are, separating this into smaller portions. That's what we do here. When we want to save propane and stuff like that, we try to heat water before cooking. And then we put it into another container, like another pan or something, and that way, it will get warm, and that way we don't have to cook everything from scratch, being cold and then warm and then cook it. We try to make it hot and then burn it and then cook it. You know what I mean? See, because that way you are saving energy, and that way you are saving resources, because you are kind of saving time as well. If you have to, let's say, do a stew for 20 people, and then you have only 1 container to put this soup, and then you have to work and you have to cook 20 liters of that soup, how long do you think it's going to take to heat and to cook a 20-liter, soup thing? It is going to take a few minutes, maybe even hours. However, what about if you need to just heat up half of a cup of a coffee? Do you think it's going to take you more than a minute? See my point? So you need to try to break it down to smaller portions and try to make it warm, the other portions. For this, you can use some thermos or, do other things. Because if you buy a thermos, then you do not need to reheat the coffee 20 times in a day. You can just make coffee 1 time in the morning, leave it there, and that's it. Now, besides rationing the propane, because by the way, we do ration the propane a lot, you also want to have electricity available to cook. Now, if you don't have electricity, then, you still need to know about these options, because you can make electrical devices work in a car. You can buy the car version of this. So the first thing that you need for cooking, obviously, is the blender. We have in the last 4 years, actually let's say 5 years. In the last 5 years, we have had maybe 4 or 5 blenders. They're not working. We have had to repair them. We have had to ask my neighbor to lend us his blender and stuff like that, because blenders is one of those things that if you use frequently, the metal blades inside, they will bend, or they will broke, or they will, do whatever. And also there is a piece in there called the dice that if you use it very frequently, that one will also kind of go bad. So oh hell, it's just one of those things that you kind of go crazy. So I suggest that you take at least 2 blenders for your kitchen, one that you have and one for spare. And then the coffee maker, obviously, because most people can't live without coffee. However, if you have a busy kitchen and then you have people going and coming, going and coming, going and coming, then your coffee maker is going to be into troubles because the jar that is made out of glass will probably break. Because the more people that you have in the kitchen, obviously the more accidents that are going to happen. So I suggest that you try to make a coffee station, and from that point forward you can have like less chance of you breaking things. And we have had 3 coffee makers and they're not working, none of them, because of that. The machine might be good, but the part that holds the coffee, because it is glass, oh hell no, those are broken. And and then you need to find a spare part that has to be exactly the spare part, because most of the coffee makers have like a pressure thing that will act to press the coffee and stuff. And if it is not an exact match, then basically you lost the coffee maker. So anyway, that's what happened to ours. So I suggest that you take, again, a couple of those things. And again, for this one, you can get the version for your car. Now, you can also have a rice maker. This one is very, very, very common in Japan. Extremely common. It's the first thing that people probably have when you have, a Japanese house. You just put the rice, water, burn it on, that's it, you leave, So we have that. That one does work. And is good, I think that those things are one of the best things that you can get for cooking, the rice maker. So we have a rice maker. Then we have, an electrical oven. It's good. You can have an electrical oven. We have a microwave. I absolutely don't like it. In fact, if I could, I would probably just get rid of the microwave. I don't like cooking in the microwave. I do not like doing anything in the microwave. And if you are using your electrical devices, with a generator and stuff, having a microwave will probably be a problem, because microwaves will need a lot of watts and a lot of energy. And so, it's not as good as an investment as the other things that we have for cooking and reheating and stuff like that. And it's very important that you understand the following. If you have problems with electricity, your main concern besides, the propane, and your biggest, and I do mean biggest headache, that I will probably consider the same kind of headache and probably even worse than the water problem, is going to be how the hell are you going to do with the food problem? Meaning, you have no power for over 8 hours. If you are in wintertime, you might not have problems with what the hell are you going to do with the food that you have in the fridge. Because, if it is winter and you have frozen temperatures, you will have no problem, conserving the food. But if you have, a power outage and then you are in summer, oh hell, I don't even know how you are going to cook and how you're going to save all of the food that you had in the fridge. And when you are cooking and you have no fridge available, then your cooking is going to change as well. Because you can't open the fridge 20 times like you used to. If you have power, think about this. Every time that you have power and you are cooking, how many times you open the fridge? Just think. You need a sauce, you go get it. You need, leftovers, you go get it. You need fruit, you need salad, you need water, you need whatever. You can go and get it in the fridge. You need ice, you open the fridge, you get it. You need something that you froze, you go open the fridge and you get it. Yeah. If there is no power, no way in hell you're opening that fridge 20 times in half an hour. If you are doing that, then you can say goodbye to all the food that you have. So you need to consider, what are you going to do to substitute the freaking fridge? Now, you could use a freezer that will last you up to 3 days if it has a lot of like a frost in it. Yeah, that will work for a few things. But even then, your food might be contaminated and you might be into trouble. And if that happens, yeah, water is not going to be even on your in your head. Your food is going to go crazy, and the smell is going to go crazy, and then you are going to go kind of like, okay, if I have water for the toilets and stuff, that's fine, but what the hell am I going to do with with everything else? That includes the freaking cooking. Because every time that you're cooking, you're using something that is cold. And you need to figure out how you're going to handle that. So anyway. Anyway, besides that, like I said, insane. I really suggest that you get a few other things that might help you cook with electricity. Like, I don't know. I have checked on Amazon, and I have in the wish list a couple of things like a wok. My aunt told me that wok was very, very good, or a wok like that is very good. An electrical wok and an electrical grill and something like that. That is good. However, here is the deal. How do you cook indoors and outdoors when you don't have propane, and what the hell do you do? I mean, if you have a grill, you could do it outside, but if it is snowing or raining or whatever, what the hell do you do? Well, I'm going to show you what I got in the US in a Walmart. So this is an emergency cooking thing. I store it with something that was humid, so it's a little bit rusty. But this thing is supposed to be filled with oil. You can refill it with oil, and then you just open this one, and then it has like a cloth on it, and then you just put a match here, and then this thing, take a look at the design. It's like a zigzag thing, and then this one goes like that. So you put here this one, like that, and then you will put the other one, like in the middle there. See, it's a match thing, and then it will go like this. Obviously it goes like this. I can't do it because I don't have both of my hands available right now, and if the thing is it's not leveled, I'm supposed to level it, but anyway, I don't have both of my hands available. So you basically put it like that. This thing will work. Give me a minute so that I can show you. Yeah, kind of like that. See, it was done. So it's supposed to look like that, like an X thing. And this one we use indoors on any top that is preferably metal top. By the way, power came back in. We were without power nearly about an hour, so great. And then you just put something on top. This thing can hold, I think, maybe up to 10 pounds. We have tried it with 10 pounds or something like that. It works okay, so it will hold. Now, if you don't have this, and then you need to make something like this, my friend took the idea And then she took a very small can, you know, like a can where you buy the cat food or something like that. That is small, okay, something like that. She opened it both sides, you know. Then she took the top part, and then she put oil on it with a hole on it, and that way, you know, she could fill up this bottom part. So the bottom part ended up being like this, you know, completely normal, but the top part ended up being like this. And then she put she cut it so that it was two pieces, like I said, you know, she cut it into two. So this part, it was movable, and then she put a cloth on it, and so every time that the oil that is there goes down, the cap will go down, 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 you know, and it will be like a level thing. So it was very cool. So she put that one as the inside. So the inside was around this size. And then she put another one, bigger one, outside. And that one she did cut in the bottom and in the top. And then that way, you know, she can see exactly what is going on. And then she used a drill to open holes in it, so that she could, you know, the same way that this one has these holes in it, but she did holes like that with the other one. And that's how she is using this. She did the same thing with this. You know, she measured it, she said, okay, 1, 2, you know, and then the middle one, and then, you know, she did the whole thing. So I don't know, I mean, you will have to be like a skillful kind of person to do this. This one I got into an emergency kit that costed me 79 cents or something like that. It was on one of those top shelves, and it came with another things for car emergency and stuff, and it was very cool though. So I have these things, and this one is what we use inside. I also bought a military cooking thing. We have used that one as well, but my mother doesn't like that one as much as she likes this one, because this one we can refuel with any kind of used oil. And that's why we save used oil. You know, every time that my mom cooks, fries something, we save the oil into a glass container, and then that way we have the oil available for something like this, and also for candles and stuff, you know, kind of like that. So that is one way to do it. Also, you could have something like this, the electrical kitchen, 1 or 2 of those stove things, but these will consume a hell of a lot of electricity. And if you are frying something and then the oil gets into this thing will catch fire. Really, just catch fire. And this thing is it's not the same cooking with fire than cooking with electricity. So you need to understand how these dynamics work, and they are different, you know. Yeah, so you know, so how do you cook when you are outside? Well, you could use 2 things, wood or charcoal. Now, there are 2 types of charcoal. There is instant and chemical one with, you know, one that you do not need a fire starter thing. And then there is the vegetable kind of charcoal. If you're using vegetable kind of charcoal alone, you will need a fire started. You know, something like an oil or alcohol burner or something like that to make it work and to make it started. Because they are different, because they are for different kinds of cooking, meaning different kinds of temperature cooking things. They won't burn at the same temperature. That's why they're different. Also, when you're dealing with wood, there are several types of wood for cooking, and you need to understand which is the one that you want. Because wood will not burn all the same at the same temperature. It will not produce the same kind of smoke. it will not be for the same kind of cooking, and at the same time it will not last the same amount of time when it is being burned. So you need to understand this. Here is also something important to understand. If there is no propane and you can't get charcoal and you don't know how to make charcoal, and people are going crazy about how the hell to cook, they are going to try to get wood somewhere. Now, this is what happens. Number one, there are going to be a lot of accidents of people cutting themselves with saws, hacks, and whatever, because they think it's easy to get wood. It's not. And you will have a lot of people with suddenly that they broke their legs and their arms and something and stuff, and even kill themselves trying to get wood. So, at this point, several companies like supermarkets will start selling the wood. Because if there is no propane, and then you need to sell the freaking wood. So number two about the wood is that try to imagine if you have, let's say 1 million people in the city, and then they all need to cook with the wood. That means that they are going to take. So if that 1 million people is going to go out to try to get wood, that means that they are going to destroy an entire forest. And I do mean that. They are going to go out and they're going to destroy an entire forest trying to get wood. Because there will be, very little people trying to regulate how much wood you can try to get. And people will be going crazy, and they will be going to parks and to plazas and to things, and then they will be cutting all the trees that they can find to try to find wood. Also, cooking is not something that you do once and then you forget about it. You do it daily, which means that basically daily there will be people going out to try to get the freaking wood. Now, this also means a lot of things, like transportation for the freaking wood, because wood is heavy. So you need a caddy or something to carry all the freaking wood that you're going to get by cutting it, or by asking your neighbor to try to get it, whatever. So you need to think about transportation, tools, and gasoline to get there, gasoline to come back, and you need to, think about security and the first aid to do all these things. And then, you need to consider where you're going to do it, because again, let's say that you are cutting, several trees at once, whatever, and then, you have it all, cut into nice pieces and stuff, and then you are making a line to try to get outside of that place or whatever, and then you get mugged because people will be willing to do whatever it takes to get that wood, because that wood means a way for cooking and a way for heating. So you might get mugged. Maybe nobody will kill you for it, but oh hell, somebody will probably steal things from you while you're doing this. So basically you need a team to do all these things, meaning handling the security, the transportation, the everything. And if you are getting a lot of wood, let's say that you think ahead and then you get the whole wood for a full week, and somebody sees that you are getting to your house with a lot of wood, yeah, you can expect a lot of neighbors to just knock on your door and try to ask you if they can borrow some of that wood. So you either can trade it or give it away or don't give it away or whatever, but you need to be, aware of the fact that that might happen. And also, if a lot of people is cutting down the trees nearby and stuff like that, you can expect a lot of fires nearby. And not only that, but you can expect even hotter temperatures, because, no tree means more sunlight, and it also means hotter climate. So, and a lot of things will change if there is no propane. And if you're handling, an electrical kitchen and you have never used an electrical kitchen before, you really, 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 really need to have in your kitchen at least, and I do mean at least, 2 or 3 fire blankets nearby. Because if you have an electrical fire, you need to put it out. And you can do that with water. And quite frankly, unless you are telling me that you have that baseball ball thing for the fire thing, then oh hell, and if you know what the hell I'm talking about, please put the name of that product, because I have no idea. A friend of mine sent me the video of that thing working, but I have no idea what the hell is the name of that thing. And he doesn't know either because he doesn't speak English. So whatever. The point is that thing is being sold in the US. I don't know the name or how the hell to get it. Anyway, so you need to prepare for fires. You need to prepare for, maintaining a fire is not the same as setting it up. When you put a fire out, you turn it on. It's going to take a lot of time and effort from you to maintain that fire, because that fire is going to start burning up, even if the fuel or the foot of the fire, meaning the wood or the charcoal or whatever, is still there. You have to steer it, you have to blow it, you have to maintain it, and it's not that easy. And putting it out, it's also not that easy. In fact, if you were to before, good times in my country,